Cinderella. In a faraway land, there lived a young girl named Cinderella, who was always kind and cheerful. Cinderella lived with her boastful stepmother and two stepsisters, who thought only of fancy dresses and funny hats. They weren't mean-spirited, just a bit thoughtless and silly. They would spend all day preening in front of the mirror, so they left all the housework to Cinderella. Cinderella's best friends were the cute little mice of the house. She would share her cheese and her troubles with them. One day, an invitation arrived from the palace. The prince was hosting a grand ball for everyone in the kingdom. The stepsisters jumped for joy. They immediately began trying on their most extravagant dresses and funniest-looking hats. They were so busy that it never even occurred to them that Cinderella might want to go to the ball too. When they left for the palace, Cinderella sat sadly by the fireplace. "I wish I could go too," she whispered. Just then, a sparkling, magical light filled the room. From within the light, a sweet and smiling fairy with a shining wand appeared. "Hello, Cinderella. I am your fairy godmother," she said gently. "Your kind heart deserves a ball." The fairy waved her wand. The biggest pumpkin in the garden turned into a round, shining carriage with wheels. The little mice magically became tiny, fluffy white ponies. When the fairy waved her wand one last time, Cinderella's old ragged dress transformed into a blue, shimmering ball gown that sparkled like the stars in the sky. And on her feet were tiny shoes made of glass. The fairy godmother smiled. "There is just one rule, my dear," she said. "When the clock strikes midnight, the magic will fade. You must be home by then." When Cinderella arrived at the palace, everyone looked at her in awe. The kind prince immediately noticed Cinderella's smiling face and kind heart and asked her to dance. They danced together joyfully. Her stepsisters didn't even recognize her because they were too busy arguing over who would eat the last cupcake. Suddenly, the grand palace clock began to chime. Dong, dong, dong. It was midnight. "I must go," Cinderella said and rushed out of the palace. As she ran, she dropped one of her glass slippers on the stairs. The next day, the prince traveled all over the kingdom with the glass slipper to find the kind girl. Finally, he arrived at Cinderella's house. The stepsisters comically tried to squeeze their feet into the tiny slipper, but they couldn't. When it was Cinderella's turn, the glass slipper fit her foot perfectly. Everyone was very surprised. At that moment, her stepsisters realized how thoughtless they had been towards Cinderella, and they apologized to her. With her beautiful heart, Cinderella forgave them. And from that day on, they all lived happily together, treating each other with more kindness and consideration.